Then it said, Bilal Shahid has blocked you. That is how we met.
You know what it is? You
Go on, tell your side of the story.
I can't even deny that side of the story, but
That's it.
you know what it
This is my director's cut.
Bismillah, it's Mr. Islah. You are listening to the Director's Cut podcast on the CS Network, where we talk all things ethnic within the entertainment industry. And as always, every guest gets a special intro. Are you ready?
Go for it, bro.
In a land unknown to mankind, one man honed his talents and got his music career started. His name is Bilal Shahid.
You sound like that guy in the cinemas.
That's kind of the idea, bro.
Yeah. Just let you know, just let you know you actually got it on point.
I nailed it.
Yeah,
What you saying,
yeah.
man? Welcome to the podcast, bruv. And
Thank you, bro.
thank you for coming, because the last 3 episodes have all been gyal, and Islah's like doing Bismillah. It's Mr. Islah with girls on the podcast, so you kind of switched it up for me. So thanks for that.
Yeah, but they were in like a different room, innit?
Yeah, it was halal.
And then like you CGI'd them.
Just to warm up, yeah. We'll start with 3 random questions.
Go on.
Question number 1: what would you do if you won the lottery?
And you know what it is? Because we're on camera, I would say like I'd give it to charity and all of that. But if I was just in private, I'd probably I'm like, because I was
Forget private and on camera, bro. What would you do if you won the lottery, bro?
you know what it is? I'd probably be smart with it. Like I'd probably like invest it into like bare property, man.
Yeah.
And like it's bare boring. Like I probably and then once I've done that, like half of it, and then the rest of it, I'll just like do whatever. I go on yachts, buy cars.
So you're more like business thinking kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%, man. I feel like the first thing, obviously, people would just be like, "Oh, just blow it," and which is easy to do because it's like the whole. Look at Mike Tyson; he blew like hundreds of millions of pounds when he made it. But I'll definitely be smart with it if we're being serious.
Okay, that's a good answer.
And then
it shows what kind of person you are.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely, I think I'm way more business minded than some people would think. Because a lot of people see me as like very sort of happy-go-lucky, and especially like my family, my friends as well. But actually, if you know me in like work side of things, I'm like.
No, that makes sense. Man. That's a very Bilal answer. But I don't know. Second question: what would the judges say if you performed at Britain's Got Talent? Let's go through the judges here. What would each judge say to you after you performed at Britain's Got Talent?
So Simon Cowell would just be like, after 10 seconds, hey,
just raise his hand.
What is this? They'll be like, what's all this? I'd be like, it's this Bengali Silet. He'd be like, can you please choose a song that's from the UK, please?
Oh, dude.
I'd be like,
so Simon would raise his hand, stop the music.
Yeah, he would raise his hand. And
what
then,
would Alicia Dixon do?
Alicia Dixon would be killing it, because she'd like it, because I feel like she's got a bit of flavour in it. Yeah. So she'd understand like the vibe, because obviously I'm trying to do that whole like Afro Bangla thing. So I think she'd get it. Yeah. And then obviously who's next? Is it Amanda?
Amanda. What would Amanda say?
Amanda, I think she'd feel it as well, because I feel like she just feels.
Basically, you just appeal to the girls, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. And then was it Piers on there?
Yeah.
I think if it was a comedian guy, I think he would be like. I think he'd feel it as well, but I don't know what he'd say because I don't know his personality that well. Yeah. But I think if it was Piers, I don't think he'd feel it, man. Yeah. I see him; he's bare political, man.
So basically, Simon would be the only hater.
Yeah, he'd be a full-on hater. I just don't think he'd get it.
Yeah. Simon Carr, if you're listening, we're gonna change your mind, bro.
100%, bro. 100.
Last question, because obviously the CS Network is a film-based platform. If you had to choose a character in a movie and live in that reality, who would it be and why?
What's that movie where they take the pills and
what, Matrix?
No. They take the pills and then their brain becomes like.
What?
You know that?
What kind of film are you watching, bro? You wanna take pills and you're
No, it unlocks.
Man, I just gave you the biggest question ever. You could choose a superhero, yeah? Man goes, I wanna take pills and mess up my head.
No.
What kind of movies are you watching, G?
Listen,
no, bro.
I don't think you know. Basically, the movie is like they take the pills.
Yeah.
It unlocks 100% of your brain. I'd probably be. Oh, I got a good one. Denzel Washington in Equalizer.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how he like just goes around helping people.
So you'd be.
But he's like, Yeah, that
You'd
guy.
be Denzel Washington
Yeah, I'll be
in
Denzel
Equalizer.
Washington. Yeah.
That's quite surprising, you know. I thought you'd pick something else.
Yeah, because I know loads of people who be like Superman, Superwoman, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like with him, like he literally like it's in the name. He equalizes things, and he's not out there. He's not too flashy, and I think that describes me.
Are you sure you're just not saying all this because the camera's on?
Nah, seriously.
Man coming out first, he said, "Yeah, I want to manage my money and give it to charity." And I said, "I want to equalize the world."
Nah, bro, you know what it is? I feel like with my personality, people don't realize that I'm actually very like somber. Yeah,
Man,
but
very
I'm
zen.
not. But
bro, this is what the podcast is for, already. But before we get into talking about your artistry and your ethnicity in the industry and stuff, I thought we could start off by talking about how we met.
Yeah, bro, we met like.
Well, let me tell my side. Let me tell my side of the story first.
You got two sides.
Let me tell my side of the story first. So once upon a time, I was an innocent young man making hood videos in my area and just starting up my career with my camera. And once Facebook got launched, I got a little message, ping, and it said Bilal Shahid, artist, singer, whatever, on his Facebook profile, yeah. And he said, "Yo, do you do videos?" And I said, "Yeah, bro." And he goes, "How much?" And I said, and this was when I was a kid, yeah. I said, £100. Then he said, "Bilal Shahid has blocked you." That is how we met. For everyone who doesn't know, that is how we met.
You know what it is? You
Go on, tell your side of the story.
I can't even deny that side of the story, bro. You know what it is, but I'll tell my side of the story, bro.
Yeah, go on then.
I don't think I blocked you, though.
No, you probably said, I said £100. It said Bilal Shahid, artist dash singer, has blocked you.
You know, £100 look like hella zeros at 14, cuz.
Was you 14?
Brother, I was hella young, because obviously you were like older, innit?
Yeah. I was like 16, 17 when I started.
Yeah, so I was at 14. So for me, bro,
You was a prick, bro.
£100. I was like, bro, £100 is like 4 weeks lunch money and bus money. Like, I was
Obviously,
thinking I ain't meant to get to school.
£100
had to eat for a whole month.
£100 at this age is like, it's gone in a second.
Yeah, £100 is like shopping, innit?
But back then, when I was charging like £100 for a video, I was like, right, like.
Man put zeros after like the one, and I was like, what? Like, it's for real.
That's how we met.
Yeah, I know. That's well, it was in like that's our first conversation.
Yeah, and then fast forward, I'll let you tell the rest of the story.
I can't remember when we actually met like face to face.
So fast forward, then I
time
started making music, and then you heard me on Asian Network.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then you reached out, and then you pretended that little Facebook conversation never happened.
Yeah, because then you're like, oh yeah, you asked me, and I was like, yeah, I can't remember that. And
You
then,
remembered, bruv.
yeah,
You were just too embarrassed to admit.
But this is a few years later, so I'd like saved up some of my lunch money by then, innit?
We chilled more because you came to uni in London. You came to uni in London, and I started seeing you more in the area, and that's when we just chilled more and more.
Yeah, because you were trying to pursue quite a few different avenues at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
And I don't think you had like channeled
A definitive one.
Yeah, 100%. But I think because you were so talented at the time, which would be nice to you.
Talented at the time.
Yeah,
Look at
you still are, but because in terms of like you had a good voice, like you were in the filming.
I think I was dabbling in a lot of things because just to find my.
And you gotta find your voice, and it's the same as a singer myself. As I was doing so many different genres of music, and it takes very many years to like, you know, when they say if you need to find your voice. So I know a lot of my followers now, if they listen to one of my songs, they know that's my voice.
Well, let's talk about you as an artist, right? So this ain't no like average. Oh, when's your next album coming out? Kind of interview. Yeah, this is a podcast. We're discussing things in it. So let's talk about your ethnicity. Yeah. What kind of role does your ethnicity play when you put yourself out there as an artist? And when I say put yourself out there, I don't just mean releasing music. I mean putting yourself out there as a public figure, putting yourself out there with your music, putting yourself out there in music videos, putting yourself out there in events, putting yourself out there when you go to radio. Like, what role does your ethnicity play in that?
Do you know, it's mad because obviously before anything else, we're British because we were born in this country. But as a Bangladeshi, I don't know, it's just our culture is so strong. Especially musically as well, like with our folk music, everything. But just in terms of culture, because it's obviously mixed a lot with our religion as well. So it's very difficult in a sense where actually our music, where we come from a very conservative background, which is in Bangladesh, predominantly Muslim background as well, from the part of
Muslim
Bangladesh,
Hindu,
part of Bangladesh. So we come from Sylhet. A lot of us came over, and our parents initially, their outlook on life was to survive. Like there wasn't any music or like things that we're
industry.
pursuing. So obviously we're at a stage now where we're trying to fulfill a role within ourselves and in our minds to get to a certain point. But our parents' role was to literally survive, put food and shelter, and that's
like, mad, isn't it, when you think about it like that?
Yeah,
literally that's their job, was to just find a way to make money in an unknown country and just to cover the roof over their head.
It goes back to that whole, like, I don't know if you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
No, explain it to me, go on.
So I'm not gonna try and
man's going into like a sociology lesson, bro.
No, 100%. No, it's important because like there's different needs where, like, how, like I just said about our parents, they're at the time they're right at the bottom kind of thing. So it's like they needed the food, shelter, everything. Yeah. And then as we get more and more inbuilt into society and we get more and more successful, our actual needs change. And then right at the top is that self-fulfillment. So it's not even like, you know, the people that have really made it and they can actually turn around and say, like, I've done it and I'm completely fulfilled in life. And that's a point where I don't think I'm going to reach at this point because of like we're only second generation. Most people are third gen if they've been here longer and their parents are born in this country. But I feel that's going to happen a few years down the line. But back to your question, because I don't want to go.
No, you gave a bit of background. Now I know you got to answer
just a bit of background. Yeah, exactly. So, but back to your question, from where I'm Bangladesh, like it plays a huge role with everything that I do, purely because the culture was instilled in me and it still is. So in a positive way, is because obviously I do a lot of fusion British Bangladeshi music. And I'll be honest, the support and like praise that you receive from the community overall, 95% very much positive, because young British Bangladeshis our age and like older ages as well. So you've got people like Nadia Ali who's really supporting our side of stuff and stuff.
Yeah, Nadia was like, she's a G, man. She's a G.
100%. So you've got people like that, and then also the audience that haven't had anyone before them apart from you. Obviously you've got the Habibs and stuff that I've done really predominantly like completely just Bangla music, and obviously a lot of it's been Shuddha as well. A lot of people in London, mainly from Sylhet. So that's the type of music that I promote, and it sits well within that bracket of music where people can actually understand it as well. And because it's fused with that whole Afro UK scene, I feel like it's been a refreshing sort of.
You put your own little spin on it, innit?
Yeah, 100%. So that side of things is good. But then on the other side, I feel like it has pigeonholed me quite a lot in terms of the wider audience. So like I've always, when I first started music when we were like 14, 15.
Yeah, because you started a long time ago, then you stopped, then you started again, then you stopped. Then you were doing YouTube videos, and then you started doing music again.
Yeah, and it's a lot because of it's a lot of because of what I was just touching on. So like started music when I was 14. I was always into like R&B, hip hop, a lot of like just what
like we all are,
exactly, just normal what anyone from any ethnicity would have been involved in, like from where we're from anyway. And then what happens is that you try and come out, but then you find that actually you're the only brown face amongst a lot of, because obviously the music industry is very much like, we don't have any of, like for ourselves, we had Jay Sean, and again Jay Sean, he's a lot more, because they got an Indian background and is not Muslim, for example, we've got a lot more restrictions on us. It's so difficult because obviously we can't drink. Socializing aspect of it makes it so much more difficult for us because we've got to make sure that our talent speaks louder than us going out and actually networking, because networking becomes so difficult. This is what a lot of people,
because a lot of people don't know, the industry isn't just about what you can offer to it with your creative skills. It's more about who you know,
and being likable behind the scenes, and are you that person that people will gather around, and then that's when you can call in your favors. So
I guess you kind of answered the whole your ethnicity with your music. So let's talk like as in like meetings and networking and stuff. How did your ethnicity play a role in that?
So like with meetings, I feel like it's a positive thing, because I feel like because there aren't many of us, there are much more now. You do stand out, but then again, it's that whole, because we're the first, I feel like we've got a lot more doors to kick down. And I feel like once people like yourself, people like myself have become more established, because I still feel like I'm still like 20% of the way there. And I've been in the game for like 10 years. I know I've been in and out. I think you're further along.
I've been around since like Twitter was invented. Like,
Yeah,
Facebook was
100%.
invented.
Yeah, well, not same. Like, when I had a YouTube, I had 1 million views on YouTube when I was like 15. When YouTube, you had to actually make a username and password, not just
a Google account.
Google.
Yeah.
Like literally, like
Long time ago.
yeah, hardly anyone. So for me to get that many views back then, when YouTube didn't even have that much of a vast usership, was wicked for me. But again, as you said, I took a break in the middle, and again, it was a lot of it was to do with the fact that I wanted to concentrate on studies, and obviously I got married in between and stuff.
And your health as well.
And my health as well, which we can get into.
Yeah, another podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's so much. There's so much of a chronological timeline with what went on with me. But I mean, overall, I think it's been a positive. But
because it is true. I mean, like the amount of British Bangladeshi artists I can count on my finger is probably with one hand. And there's
100%.
probably more out there that haven't got the spotlight yet, and maybe they're just making tunes in their bedroom or whatnot,
or don't know how to get the spotlight.
Or don't know how, because I guess like you were saying, that we don't the music in the Asian music industry is kind of like what you got: your Punjabis, you got Gujaratis, you got your Pakistanis, Bengalis, you've even got Tamil music.
Tamil music, which is like coming up as well with the Bangladeshi stuff. But again, I feel like we're right at the beginning of something that I think could be really big. But we're literally just kicking down those doors and breaking those barriers. Because look, you've got the Latino music now. That's in the last few years. Obviously, once Justin Bieber jumped on some of that stuff, which is big anyway. It was big internationally anyway. But especially in this country, I mean, I started hearing the stuff on radio all the time now, like on Capital Extra and Capital, and that's something I feel like South Asian music as a whole could be. But I don't know how we're gonna get it over the line, because obviously we've had a few. Because obviously you've got people like Steel Bangles and a lot of Asian producers like Naughty Boy and all these guys that do their stuff. I just feel like in terms of the music itself, I feel like a lot of mainstream music take a lot of South Asian elements of it, but then they take elements of it and mix it into, but then we're not actually given the props as much as I feel like we should.
Okay,
but again, it's all a development. Like I said, we're right at the beginning. We're very much just exploring where we can go with it. But do
you feel like you being British Bangladeshi stops you or makes you struggle when you're trying to move forward?
To an extent, I do feel like because it's different, it's just more difficult to prove to A&Rs and record labels, for example, that actually I could get sales for you, for example. I could sell the records because it's never been done before. But that's the same with most anything that's new. You have to prove it yourself. People are scared of what they don't know, innit? And it's like they'd rather use what works. So and I think that slowly that's changing for an independent, because now you've got streaming sites like Spotify and like iTunes and all of these things, and I feel like because of the streaming numbers, I feel like that's going to be a good database to actually then prove to these A&Rs and labels actually there's a space to make money, because that's mainly what they care about, marketability and putting money in their pocket. And that's what a lot of artists need to remember as well. It's not just about you being an amazing artist. Like, you might be a really good singer, but you gotta have the whole package nowadays, man. It's so much. There's so much
you
pressure.
Feel like you gotta work twice as hard with your ethnicity in the question.
There's so much pressure, man. Like, you've got to have it all, because there's so much talent out there. You've got to like sing, dance, live. Like, you've got to be a good personality. Again, you've got to know the music business, and you've got to know how to network with people. So it's not just about you being good in the studio. You've got to be good on the other side. And then also when you get visuals, music videos, all of these things, like, you need to have the skills and knowledge. Otherwise, there are people out there that will pick you up, use you, leave you, and you just need to know what you need to do to get out there. And the whole social media side as well.
Because social media especially has changed the way everything works. Like, back in the days, there were like records, you know, them massive ass records they used to play on the like bloody decks, and people, like, I remember Bollywood Hindi songs used to be performed from start to finish with no mistakes, and that would be the record sold. But like nowadays, music is just uploaded online,
and it's so accessible to anyone. Like, anyone now with the recording equipment can come into a studio, and literally they can actually sing 4 bars at a time and actually make it sound seamless.
So let's talk about how music's kind of changed in the way people put it out there, and you said it's accessible, because obviously YouTube's completely changed everything. Anyone can make a song and just upload like a lyric video, yeah. So obviously you bang out music videos. I've got one of your music videos loaded up, right?
Yeah.
Don't be embarrassed, bro.
Nah, bro, I ain't embarrassed.
You're not embarrassed? Let's have a look at this. So if you're listening to the podcast, you might want to jump on YouTube and see what I'm seeing. So this song is by Bilal Shahid. It's called Monjuraya. So let's just analyze this video. Alright, so you got a nice summery jacket. Is that car yours?
It's not my car.
Okay, so you're starting with the car that's not yours.
The clothes are mine. I own this clothes.
Is that actually your friend or?
That's my friend.
Was
that's
he hired as well?
Nah, that's my friend. That's my actual friend. That was my friend's car.
Okay, so it's your friend's car. Alright, makes it alright then.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Mima, which is your missus.
Yeah, it's my wife.
Right. So this is your wife, Mima. She's
My
walked
friend,
past you. Now you're checking her out, and you've tapped her, and you start having a little chat.
And I said, look, I've got
And
Mercedes, man.
you've got keys. Let me just say it. I'm pausing it here. Wait. That is not how you met, cuz.
No, bro, it's not meant to
Listen,
be.
I know your missus, yeah? Mima would not even look at you walking past. And if you tap to try and talk to her, bruv, she'll tell you to fuck off.
You probably bring out an alarm and like press the alarm button, bro.
She would have a rape alarm ready, bruv. Let's just talk about that, yeah?
You waste, man.
Where do you come up with these concepts, cuz?
You know what's mad, bro? Because everything's done, so like it's like guerrilla shooting, bro.
Yeah.
Like nothing's planned.
Yeah.
Like beforehand. Like we literally make it up as we go along. Literally.
So you told
We were just
Mima
like-
to just come in and act like you're getting
I was
choked.
like, yeah, does that like get checked? So I was like, how are we gonna show this on camera? And the director was like, he's like, oh, bro, like you got the C63 in it, bro. It's like, you can tell my director's like, I mean, he's single. So,
Yeah, I
like,
can tell. I can tell.
I'm just like, yeah, we'll go with it, man. He was just
Oh
like,
my God.
the director was like, bro, it was your idea. What are you talking about? He put it on me, fam. But for the purpose of this podcast, it was his idea, innit? So he was like, what girl wouldn't want to jump into C63 on a hot sunny day with a rooftop off? I was like, yeah, go, we'll roll with that, bro.
And then they got married and lived happily ever after.
That's it.
There you go.
That's
That's
Nah,
the
but
fake story.
the beautiful thing about like music, like you could, which is amazing for me, like you can become whoever you want.
Yeah, I guess it's like acting,
You know what
innit? You play a character, innit?
Yeah, and
But
that-
like, how much thought do you put behind your music videos? Like, does the whole so the community? Do you feel like, oh, I have to think of a music video so I don't get judged on this, or do your mum and dad? Because your mum and dad, I assume, are watching what you're doing as well. How much thought do you put into music videos, considering the community and your parents and your family?
Yeah, so basically that's connecting to the first question you asked, to be fair,
Yeah.
about how does that affect
The role
so,
your ethnicity plays,
yeah, exactly. So I mean, when it comes to visuals, obviously as a Muslim myself, again, music it's like
A grey area.
It's a grey area, and to be fair, most people would agree that actually it's not something that should be pursued.
Okay.
Now for me, like it's been my passion from when I was like literally a little kid, and I've loved it.
Yeah.
And for me, like I've never ever put myself out there in a light where it showed me promoting drugs or alcohol or like anything like that, because it's just not what my songs have been about. My songs, when I first started out, was actually bare like soppy, like, do you know what I mean, like
About love and shit.
yeah, about love and that, man. I'm just like,
I think any R&B singer is.
do you know what I mean? So you know, I do have to have a level of thought that goes into it regarding who's gonna watch it. And in a sense, it's kept me grounded.
Okay.
Because bro, when you're on camera and you've got all these ideas and you've got certain budget, you can do whatever you want. Really, you can get whatever model and stuff. But as a sort of responsible member of my community that I come from, I feel like it's definitely important to have certain boundaries. And I know for me that will pigeonhole me, and it might, and not might, it's 100% gonna cap where I can go to. But you know what it is, I don't care. I'm comfortable with that. If I never get signed because or never go to the heights that that's possible, like I'm talking about, like when I look at my competition, I don't look at the man next to me. I look at Drake, because that's where he's at the top.
Bruh.
He's at
Man
the top.
jumped to my podcast and he's sending for Drake cuts.
Yeah, no, that's how you gotta see it, man.
Imagine Drake sends a response to this, bro. He's like,
no,
yo, look,
He's like, yo, man.
I don't know who you think you are.
This Bengali. Nah, but bro, like you've gotta try and try and see like where does this end up?
Yeah.
Like where's the top? And he's at the top of the game. Yeah. And I say to myself, realistically, for me to get there, I'd have to let go of a lot, if not everything that I inherently grew up in, believe in.
Yeah.
And in myself, I've already made myself comfortable with that. That actually, you know what, I might not, and there's certain things I'll never give up on. You know how people say, like, oh, you got to sell your soul. I think that's I think it's more of an analogy than the realistic.
It's a very narrow-minded way of thinking. I think even like in the acting industry, right? So I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, I would never do, let's say for example, a kissing scene in a movie. Like I would never do one of them, you know, them shot-on scenes. You know them scenes when you're watching a movie with your family, yeah? And then the kissing scene starts and then like everyone's looking for the remote to change it, innit? I'm not gonna be that guy, bruv. Like I don't want you changing the channel because I'm on TV. Put it that way.
It's hard, isn't it? Like, because it's such a hard, like, it's like a struggle, isn't it, within yourself? Because it's like, on one hand you're thinking, I'm like, oh, like this is what I love doing, this is what I love to do. And a lot of viewers will think, especially in the mainstream, if anyone's watching, actually like, oh, it's just normal, it's just part of life, it's natural, like whatever. But it's difficult growing up from where we grew up from, a culture, a religion. There's such a mixture of things that we actually have to go through, and this is why I say to whoever, any talent scouts and stuff that watch us, to do see what we're doing. It's actually, whatever we do, it should be rewarded 10 times more, because we have to think about things like 100 times over and make sure certain things are in place. We can't just go into studio and make a song about whatever. We have to, there's a lot of thinking, a lot of thought, there's a lot of consideration that we have to take for family, friends, and different audiences, as well as us trying to make it in our community, because the community is what's our core fan base initially. That's my core fan base, anyway. The South Asian fan base is my core fan base, and I can't make it any further than that without them. For me to show an example to my family is not something that I'll personally dabble into, but I'm comfortable with it. That's the main important thing. I'm comfortable with that. But if something does happen and what I'm doing can go out there, because it's like, my music, it's not all like, I'm not saying like, oh, when I look at a girl, I'm going to be looking down and stuff. It's not like, it's not that, but there's a, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, but there's an extent.
I feel like you're getting nervous because your mum and dad are watching this podcast as well.
It's not even that, man. It's just the reality, unfortunately. Like, for me, well, I say unfortunately, you see that, like, in the back of my mind, see that it just came out. Like, I'm saying unfortunately because I'm like kind of upset, but then should I be? Because I'm staying true to the values that I was brought up on and I believe in, like. So,
and I guess that makes us shine, man, because if we can pull off a movie without a love interest, or if we can pull off a song without, you know, it being about Nicki Minaj.
Like whapping it.
Like, we should get, you're right, we deserve a lot more credit for that. 100%. But like, so another thing I wanted to talk to you about was, it's commonly known or commonly seen amongst artists mainly, it can happen in other places, but ego. So I've seen it everywhere, every artist that I've met has some level of ego, or they've kind of learned to tame it, or, you know, they battle it and everything. How do you battle your ego? Or is there an ego to battle in the first place, and how do you tame it?
For me, bro, like, I'll be honest, when I was young, when I initially was doing really well, because all of my stuff went up on like Channel U at the time, and it got into a top 10 chart, so like N-dubs and stuff at the time, like on that channel, specific show and stuff. Loads of people were texting in. My Facebook was on like 70,000 followers back then. This was like nearly 10 years ago. It was like I had a blue tick then. So I was actually, I feel like I was more. I had more of a core fan base back then than I do now because of like my inconsistency. Then I felt like, because I was young and I didn't know how to deal with all the attention, I probably did get an inflated head.
That's why you messaged me on Facebook and you blocked me.
I blocked you. I was like, what do you mean blocked? I was like, what do you mean £100, bro? This guy should be dying to do my video for free. Like, do you know what I mean?
It all makes sense now.
Do you know what I mean? So, no, but seriously, like that, and I'm happy and honest to admit that, because I was like 15, like 14, 15, 16. And at that point, like, you're still going through so much learning. You're going through so much, like, learning of yourself in terms of, like, feelings and emotions and relationships with other people and how to behave in certain environments. And I'm lucky I got all that attention back then, because now I feel like
Man said, I'm lucky I got all the attention back then. What kind of attention you getting, bro?
Nah,
what kind of attention you getting, guys? Hey, Mima, are you listening?
I didn't even know
I'm joking.
Do you know what I mean? But like,
that makes it alright.
in terms of like, yeah, bro, like what?
I'm messing up. I'm getting in trouble.
My life, nah. But like, it's a learning phase, man. And I feel like because I went through it earlier rather than later, I was able to change. You know what they say, like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, it's so much more difficult.
I actually had to think about that quote. It's old dog, new tricks.
Yeah,
I'm so dyslexic, bro.
I mean, we're not we're not old. Like, look, we're still in our like mid to late 20s, yeah. But it's still so much more difficult to change your behaviors now than it was when you were younger.
Yeah, because you're like a sponge, innit?
100%. Like even in your teenage years. So for me now, I've gone through quite a lot, man, like marriage, university, education, business, work, family. Like I said, for the supporters that know through my whole like health journey, mental health as well. After being through all of that, it makes you think, like, who am I to think that I'm better than anyone else? Like, I'm just grateful to be alive, healthy, I have a family, thankful for the people I've got, like people like yourself and like the small circle of people that I've got, and that's another thing as well. Like when you're involved in the arts and creative industry, especially with social media around, you fall into this trap where you feel like you need to be liked by loads of people, and you need your phone book needs to be popping, and your texts and your Instagram and your DMs and stuff. But actually, people forget that. Well, not people forget. People don't realize just being fine is priceless. Do you get what I mean? But just being fine, like, I'm fine. I'm alright. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Because that's very difficult. Because actually, when you've got too much, you're not fine. And obviously, when you got below that, obviously you're struggling. So it's even worse. But just to be fine, sometimes there are a lot of people that are fine, but they don't realize that actually that is effing amazing. Like, to be just fine, to be just sitting there, to be bored at home. Maybe that's my
to be okay.
To be okay. Maybe that's just my age speaking. People, what the hell is he talking about? But certain people would understand that actually just to have everything, you know,
in
like
order.
Yeah, like
Everything
just a nice pH balance. Not too much acid, alkaline, right in the middle. Man's
dropping chemistry. I failed that, bro.
Nah, bro. Like, just to be content with life, man. I think so much is going on at the moment. We've got, obviously, we've just gone through like a massive pandemic, massive lockdown. I think for me, slowed down life a lot, which I was so glad, because I looked and I thought to myself, man, I'm alright. I'm still at home. I'm still working. I'm still able to record at home. Compared to a lot of people, and I should be grateful. So what makes me think ever that I have to like think in my head basically that I'm better than someone else, or you know, so if we meet someone in a networking thing, that I'm not gonna act like I know them or whatever. I'm just like, if you're in the same, but just purely because of how social media works, man, and recommended, and if you're in the same industry and in the same circle, you see my stuff and I've seen your stuff. Don't act like you don't know me. I'm not gonna act like I don't know you.
Innit, Drake? Where you at, bro?
Yeah, Drake, yeah, exactly.
Drake, you know you see these stuff, bro.
No, but you know what I mean, innit? Like, I just feel like everyone just needs to loosen up a little bit. And actually, collaboration is the best form of growth, I feel.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I mean, so
bro, that's some deep, man. That's deep. Where can everyone find you on social networks, or are you gonna block them as well?
Nah. You ain't been blocked for years, bro. Nah, if you literally just Google Bilal Shahid, it'll just come up.
You hear that? Just Google him, bro. Wait. Page. You just gave a whole TED talk about not having an ego. Then I said, where can everyone follow you? Like, just Google me.
Bro, I we put my name in Google.
Obviously, you're an artist. I dabble in my artistry with my singing and my beatboxing, so I'm gonna try something with you. You know the Universal fanfare when a movie starts by Universal, and you've got the theme music, right? So we're gonna try the a cappella thing live on the podcast. You can start off the first bar, I'll do the second bar, and then I'll come in with the harmony, and I'll drop the bass in between. Go on. Should we try it?
Yeah, go
on.
Should
we try it?
Yeah, go on.
Alright, go on. So it starts off with ba 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 ba. Can you do that?
Ba 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 ba.
Boom boom. Ba 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 ba. Boom, boom. Ah, we smashed it. That was terrible, but we smashed it.
We smashed it anyway, bro.
That's your first 100 acapella in it.
In it, bro. Well done, bro.
And that's a wrap.